impact been on that?
what's the impact on my property?
Right.
And that's something the magistrate can understand. This
Yeah.
is impacting my property value.
Yeah.
And if you can convince the magistrate of that, more than likely, they're gonna find it in favor of the city.
There's another problem. I had one call me today, says I don't want my name used at all.
Right.
I hear that at work. That guy's doing that. You won't tell anybody, I told you.
Okay, anything else, Dick?
No, thank you.
Bob?
June budget reports and payroll reports were in your council packets, and Vicki and I will be at the Municipal Leadership Academy in Ames Wednesday through Friday this week.
We didn't say you could go.
Okay, thank you, Barb. Denny?
Nothing.
Anita?
I just need to add to the hairball thing is that I know several people that went to it too and thought it was a lot of fun and great, but when I drove by and saw the size of those speakers, because there are people that live, friends of mine that live out by the turnoff to the airport, and they sat out on their deck and could listen to the music and hear it playing. The speakers were that good, the wind or something.
The wind was going that
Yeah.
direction that night.
Yeah, I actually heard them at my house. I just turned my TV up a little louder to drown them out. But some of my family were there, couldn't hear for 3 days afterwards, but they thought it was fantastic.
My ears
And
were still ringing
what
the
they
next day.
what they commented on was for that big of a crowd, there was no incidents that, of any fighting or anything like that, to get that many people together with that much activity and music and loudness. And yet there was not any incidents of any kind of problems that anybody had to be arrested or hauled away or anything like that. So that's kind of unusual. So my other things that I want to mention is an invite on the 29th of July. Habitat for Humanity is having a fundraiser at Riverside Park from I think 1 to 4. It's kind of a family fun thing. Trick Ride will be doing our food for us. It'll be free will offering rather than a price for a plate. Plug Nickel will be playing, and we'll have some different games for families that can play, like the ag game and all this different things. So if you are available and would like to come down to Riverwalk Park on the 29th, come and join us and bring your money. So we could use the money. Otherwise, that's it.
You said July 29th?
July 29th on Sunday.
Okay, thank you, Benita. John?
I'll defer to Steve, will comment on the city hall and that sort of thing later.
All right. Okay. Luke?
Yeah, I wanted to update you on the abandoned properties, including the burned out property. We're actively trying to get title to 4 properties right now, including the burned out property. During the course of trying to obtain title to burned out property, 3 people passed away who actually had an interest in that property, and they had an interest that actually passed to their children, and 3 of those individuals are not located in the state of Iowa. So that's been the problem. And there was a probate estate proceeding which was opened and then closed because there was not any cooperation. So what I can tell you is that everybody involved will be served 3 weeks from today. At that point, I can ask for a hearing. So I anticipate that I will have title to that property probably by the end of August. As to the other 3 properties, I have a hearing date of August the 7th, so I will have title to all 3 of those properties on the 7th of August. So as to the 4 properties that I'm actively trying to obtain, I think by the end of August, we'll have all 4 properties taken care of. And if there are any other properties that are on the list that people are complaining of, I'd like to see those. And Doug and I need to go out and start new proceedings. Then we'll certainly do that.
Okay. Anything else, Luke?
No.
All right, thank you. Steve?
Just wanted to update everybody that the city website process is moving along. Tammy's doing a great job collecting information and putting things together, and John's been helping out with some extra eyes as far as help putting that together. So that's going to be ready for launch here in the very near future. So that's moving right along. City Hall Task Force, John mentioned, we had another follow-up meeting today, and we're meeting again this Friday. We're have received initial estimate on looking at a city hall combo police station scenario, and so we also want to look at a city hall and police scenario with police using this structure and kind of get some comparative costs and see how that comes together. I've been meeting with a few of the property owners over here, talking about options on property. So that work is in process. The goal is still to have a recommendation to you by the August 13th meeting. And we're working hard to try and meet that deadline. If we don't meet that deadline, we're not gonna push it, we're gonna take it as it comes, but we're working hard to get there. Does that about cover it?
Yep.
Also wanted to comment on the Hairball concert. I received a number of phone calls before the concert. Most of the first couple were shortly after we approved the idea, and then I received one from another adjacent property owner there about 2 nights before the event, concerned about access and the noise and whatnot, and they had also mentioned that they had not heard from anybody about the event taking place. So I did a couple drive-arounds that night during the show, and I wish I would have attended. It looked like it was a great show. But I went out to, turned around at Super 8, and I could still hear Deuce down at Super 8 from Kiss. And then did a couple of drive-arounds because there was a lot of concerns of whether people being on people's property and making a mess, and I didn't see any of that. And everything looked like it was well under control and well maintained, and the crowd looked great. So didn't receive any calls the next day or after that. I think the mayor was the same boat, and Chief Miller, I don't think you heard anything after that either. But we had received some concerns prior to, leading up to it, and so hopefully, I mean, it looked like it went off pretty well. So, curb and sidewalk projects, that's progressing right along. August 3rd is our completion date. We did have an initial issue with access in back behind the alleyway, with trucks having access to get out. But we have temporarily made this alleyway a 2-way alley. We've blocked off some parking so people can come around the corner and see traffic coming. And I said a lot of the overflow is up here in the City Hall parking lot right now too. But that seems to be one thing about the dry weather. We're able to move along on that sidewalk project pretty quickly, so that's been good. Then we're gonna, once they're through with 3rd Avenue here, then we'll be working on the replacement sections up there along the initial parts of the project to get those completed. Sewer trunk project, that's complete, we're closing out. I'm working with FEMA. As you may recall, we had $30,000 that we were gonna get for the encasement, so I'm working with them to close that out to get that money into us now that the project is complete, and that's moving at the speed of turtle. So, but nonetheless, we're working towards getting that closed out and getting our reimbursement for that. Randy mentioned about the Tour de Vida. I got a meeting with Jason on here on Wednesday afternoon. We'll be discussing that. The week of June 30th, I plan on taking vacation, so I'll be on vacation the week of July 30th. I can have June 30th? All right. So keep that in mind. And the last thing I have on here is the Northeast Iowa Regional League. That is scheduled to be happening sometime that week.
July 31st.
Is it the 31st? Tuesday night? Yep. And it's gonna be at the new Pin Oaks golf course there in Manchester. So if you haven't been there, Manchester, they sold the clubhouse to a different organization, and now they've built a whole new place. And so it's kind of a whole different new area. So I've been there before for a manager meeting. It's a pretty nice place. So anybody that's interested in going, please let Barb or I know.
Is it right off of 20 there?
It's right off 20. Yeah, if anybody's familiar with where the old clubhouse used to be, you'd get off 20, you'd kind of turn around, you'd get on that road, you'd make that first right. Well, now instead you stay on the gravel road that runs parallel to 20 for about a quarter mile, and then you take a right, and that's a gravel road. It's a whole new subdivision out there, and it's down the road about a mile on the left-hand side. So whoever's driving,
Yeah, I was gonna say carpooling, hopefully.
give you directions. But yeah, if anybody's interested in going, I know they're gonna have, John Danos is gonna be there. Worked with John a lot. He's, one of the TIF specialists. He's gonna be, talking about, the tax increment financing updates and legislative changes, and, they have new reporting requirements that they're gonna require from the city, so there's gonna be additional paperwork for us to, when it comes to, dealing with any type of TIF projects, so, they're gonna be covering some of those changes and things at that meeting, and answer any other TIF questions that you may have. Other than that, that's all I have.
Okay, thanks, Steve. We did have a city task force meeting today, for City Hall. Just to reiterate what John thanked everyone. This force, I want again to thank the first one for all your work and cooperation, because you've gotten us to the level where we're at now, and this is pushing on quite well. 3 councilmen on and the rest of the community members out there, and you're doing a great job, just a great job, and I appreciate all that. It's coming together, and I know timeline's stressful, but we have another meeting this week. We're gonna have to have maybe several of them to get there, but we're gonna get there. I like the communication we had tonight, people, with the concerns we have for the citizens. I have gone with Doug, and I've seen some of the situations he's dealing with, and there are restrictions. Doug can only do so much. So he's out there working for you. There's sometimes people, and I know that they've told him that they're gonna do this and it doesn't get done. I know, Doug. But we'll look at those a little closer and what we need to do. But some of those things, we just can't do something about. But we'll try to do the ones we can, and it's a tough job, but it's gotta get done. We'll get it done. So I wanna appreciate all the council, your thoughts, and citizens, please don't stop with your concerns. We wanna hear them, we wanna know them. And I know sometimes they're continuous and it doesn't seem like anything's getting done, but we will work on it. And on another note, before I close, I wanna be a spokesman, kind of, I can be on behalf of the City of Independence this evening for those 2 missing girls over in Evansdale. I want to assure them that our thoughts and prayers are with them families and all their friends, and I hope they come home soon. And upon that note, I'll take a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Motion by Engen, second.
Second.
Second by Holland, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Have a good evening, a better tomorrow, and many more to follow. Thank you.